Hi everybody, John Cottrell here of MBODY Yoga, and this is Soft Flow Yoga. Thanks for joining me. In this practice, we're going to work out our tight hamstrings. Let's begin our practice in seated, and also just to be sure you have a prop, I'm going to be using a yoga strap. And if you don't have a yoga strap, if you have a jump rope or a long belt, that will also work. That's going to help us stretch out our hamstrings today. Let's begin in seated and tune into breath. Let's start with a few deep breaths. A nice full inhale, filling up your lungs, and exhale to empty. Just taking these deep breaths, this mindful connection to self. Inhale deeply, exhale completely. It takes your full attention to take a deep breath. So it just narrows our focus so we're able to let go of the things that are going on outside of us so we can really focus on what's going on inside. A few more deep breaths, continuing this journey inward. Deepening this connection. Fully aware, fully present. Good. Let's take 3 more breaths. Nice. And after you have that third breath, let's go ahead and make our way to hands and knees. Feel free to use a blanket or just something soft like a cushion of some sort underneath you. You can even double up on your yoga mats. And just come to hands and knees. Let's work our spine and our hips, moving through cat and cow. So an inhale to tip the chin up, allowing the back to arch, feeling the pelvis tip back. Exhale. Tuck the pelvis under, feel the belly button pull up towards spine, rounded back, chin to chest. Inhale, tip the pelvis back now, belly drops, arching of the back, tip chin up. Exhale, round it all out. Just continue this nice flow. It's really a continuation of the breath work we did in seated. Now we're just adding movement to this breath. And a wonderful way to find mobility through the spine and the hips. Finish the breath that you're on and take 2 more breaths. And just pause here in stillness for a moment. If you are using a pad, we can go ahead and move the pad off to the side. Come back to hands and knees. Let's work our way to downward facing dog. From this tabletop posture, let's step the hands forward slightly so the hands are out from underneath the shoulders. Spread out your fingers, feeling the stretch between each finger. Lean into your hands or press your palms flat into your mat just to help open up the palms. And feel the energy of your strong, straight arms. Let's keep that sensation. Go ahead and tuck your toes. Do 1 more cat-cow. Inhale, cow. Exhale, cat, rounded spine, core connection as well. Make sure your toes are tucked so you can lift your knees off the mat. Send your hips up into the air. Head and chest sink between the arms. Again, be sure your hands feel firm on the mat, arms straight and strong. But you're also welcome to adjust the positioning of your feet and your hands to help settle into the pose. We can start with some leg stretches here. Even though we're working hamstrings today, we can get into our calves a little bit. This is what I call walking the dog, or like you're pedaling or walking. So I'm just pressing one heel down towards the ground as the other heel lifts. It stretches the toes, but you may also feel this in the calves, especially when the heels press down. And I exhale when I press the heel down. Inhale in between and exhale as I press the other heel down. We're going to come up to standing in a moment. Maybe one more on both sides. Let's take a few steps forward, maybe just to the center of the mat or until your feet are flat on the mat. Just slide your fingertips towards your toes. Inhale, slide your hands up to your shins or knees to help elongate through the spine, nice and flat. Exhale, let's fold. Let's hold here for a moment, just as we got into the calves in our down dog while we were walking the dog. Now we're working up the legs a little bit into the hamstrings as we get this nice stretch in the standing forward fold. Perfectly fine if the knees are bent, just as long as you feel the stretch that feels good. To stand, we'll shift the weight into the heels, bend your knees to lower the hips, walk your hands up to thighs, push into thighs to start that re-extension of spine. So you're here in a chair-like position, and then keep pressing into thighs to stand up nice and tall. Then inhale, extend the arms all the way up, big stretch, and exhale, arms down to your side. Feel free to circle the shoulders since we were in that down dog for some time. Roll the shoulders back and forward. And even feel free to kind of get into the elbows and wrists and fingers. One of our postures that we're going to be doing in standing is triangle pose. Triangle pose is a wonderful lunge that gets into the hamstrings. Let's work our way there, starting in mountain pose. Inhale, reach out and up. Exhale, fold forward. Always okay to bend your knees as you make your way down towards your toes. Another nice stretch for the hamstrings. Inhale, rise up halfway to a flat back. Exhale, fold. Bend your knees enough so you can make your way to the ground with your hands and walk or step the feet back into plank pose. Just lower the hips so they're at shoulder level. Shoulders over wrist. Nice, strong, straight arms. We'll take a breath in. Exhale, bend your knees, send your hips into the sky. It's our return to downward facing dog. Feel free to adjust to the feet and hands once again. I want to pedal the feet one more time, just once on each foot. Then let's inhale, extend right leg up into the air, reaching long. Then exhale it, step right foot to the top of the mat or behind the right hand here is good. Turn the whole left leg so the left heel's on the floor, shifting your weight back into that foot as if you're standing firmly on that foot. Hands should feel light here so you can lift them, reach forward, hinge from hips, rise up. We'll pause for just a moment in Warrior One. Reaching high, lunging low. Nice hip flexor stretch here. Nice strong engagement of your thigh, knee and toes pointing forward. Inhale, and exhale, open up to Warrior Two. Make some adjustments with your feet. I typically turn my left leg out just so my knee and ankle feel good. Right knee and toes still pointing forward here. And I take the feet slightly wider for the lunge. Outstretched arms. Good, now we're working into our triangle pose. We're going to straighten this front leg. Now, if the distance between the feet is too far, you can always bring the feet a little closer together for triangle pose. Nice and tall, outstretched arms. Let's reach out over that straight right leg, and the pelvis kind of tips here. Feel like your hip is kind of tips up and is moving back that direction. And just rotate the arms here. And the right hand might land somewhere along the thigh, knee, might even be lower. I'm going to stay up high for this first part. And I'm going to turn this direction to show you why I'm up so high, because I'm pretty flat here. And this is about the distance my body can tip over sideways. But if I just push the hips back, coming out of this plane here, then I'm able to actually go down a little deeper. And I would be able to go even farther if my feet were farther apart. So I'm going to do that. Take feet farther apart. Straight leg, pushing hips back, just opens up the pelvis a little bit, especially in the leg socket, so I can go down a little deeper. Now, what you could do, if this left arm in the air gets a little tired, you can certainly bring it down, since a lot of our focus is here in the straight right leg. I also like to lift the toes in front so I can really feel the heel and the balls of the foot pushing firmly into the floor. Energizes the leg, stabilizes the hip, and I get a nice stretch. It allows me to go slightly deeper. 2 more breaths. To come out of the posture safely, I like to bend this right knee into a lunge and able to come back up, back into a warrior 2, and let's reverse the warrior. Taking the right hand up into the air, reach, lunging, just to reopen through this right side. Good, a big windmill or cartwheel out of the pose, around to the floor with the hands that slide the right foot back. Plank pose, bend the knees and hips to sky. Downward facing dog, adjusting feet and hands. I'm going to pedal the feet again once on each side and ready for the sequence on the other side. Inhale, extend left leg into the air. Exhale, extend left foot to the top of the mat, right heel to the floor, shifting the weight back so that the right foot's well planted. You feel balanced here, easily able to hinge your way up. Warrior 1, another pause in Warrior 1, checking in with the alignment of this front leg and the hip flexor release on the right leg. Inhale. Exhale, slowly turn to the right, making sure your left knee and toes still are pointing forward. Turning here, but if you need to, make some adjustments with that back leg. Here's our Warrior 2. Setting it up for triangle, we're going to straighten this left leg. I'm going to keep the feet at this distance like this, reaching out, rotate the arms. Now here's that more flat sensation. It's like I'm flat up against a wall. Imagine you were kind of pressed up against a wall. In that way, you might find that you don't have a lot of distance here. But if I push the hips back slightly, it doesn't have to be much, creates just enough space so I can take this left hand down a little deeper. I'm going to go ahead and rest this right arm, focusing on my left leg, wanting to stabilize this leg by lifting the toes, driving the heel and the balls of the foot into the floor, helps to stabilize this hip here, so I can go a little deeper. Really feeling a nice dynamic stretch in the hamstrings. Coming out of the posture, we'll bend this left knee so I have leverage to come back up, passing through my Warrior 2 and reversing the warrior. Left hand reaching straight up, bending the knee forward, opening up through the left side. And our big windmill out of the pose. Around to the floor with the hands. We'll slide left foot back, plank pose. Pause for a moment. Let's bring knees to the floor. Sit back briefly into hero, then off to the side. Swing legs around to the front. And scoot forward so I'm sitting in the center of the mat. Now we are going to lie down. Feel free to use a blanket or a pillow, anything soft if you need to, underneath you for a bit more support. And you want to have your strap. I'm going to lie down and just pausing here for a moment, bending the knees, feet flat on the ground. For me, this just feels very settling, especially for my back. Let's get into some hamstring stretching here on the floor. And again, we'll use the strap here. Extend the left leg, even flex that foot just to keep this left side fully active. Unwind my strap here, bend right knee, bring it up to chest. And go ahead and wrap the strap around the sole of the foot and take the extension. Now don't worry if the leg doesn't go absolutely straight. Maybe the knee is slightly bent here. And that's fine. You want to have a good hold of the strap and gently sending the foot overhead. Not that it's going to go completely over your head, but it going in that direction so you start to feel the stretch you want to create in the hamstrings. So So a nice, good hold of the strap, somewhat taut. And I can now feel the stretch. Not too strongly here. You don't want to force this. I'm taking about 10 breaths in this leg stretch with the leg in the air. Some other alternatives to this is actually a seated forward fold. That way you can get a nice stretch for your back as well as the hamstrings. But here you can kind of, in the most restful way, the body's just lying down and just working on this leg stretch with the elevated leg. About 3 more breaths. And when you're complete, you can soften the knee, release the strap, and extend the right leg back down onto the floor. I like to hold here for a moment as if I'm in Shavasana, just so the body can relax. Just coming out of that tense sensation of that right leg stretch, just holding here for a moment. Before getting into that left leg, I'm going to flex the right foot so it keeps the right leg now energized. And then I'll draw left knee in, strap around the foot, and extend. Good hold of the strap. Again, it's okay if there's a slight bend in the knee. Not forcing the stretch. Getting into a place where you can hold this for at least 10 breaths. Certainly okay to hold this longer. Just being sure you're not overstretching. And you can certainly repeat. So once you finish the left leg, you can do the right and then the left leg again. Deep breaths here. My left leg is not as flexible as my right leg, so I can really feel this. Taking some deeper breaths. I'm even bending my knee just a tiny bit more so it doesn't feel too stressful on my hamstrings here. But there's still a sensation of the toes going up and over my head, even though the foot is not in motion, the leg is not in motion, but that's the general direction the foot and leg would be going. 3 more breaths. And then when we're ready to complete, I'll just bend the knees so I can remove the strap. And go ahead and hug both knees into chest here. That'll just take some of that stretch out of the hamstrings here. Since the feet had been active in those poses, maybe a little movement in the feet and ankles. Let's just finish with a twist. Let's go ahead and take the knees over to the left, right arm over to the right. Maybe 5 breaths on each side. Just getting into the low back a little bit and up and down the spine, as well as the hips. And with the bent knees, again, the hamstrings get to relax for a moment. And let's go ahead and bring the knees back up to center. And then the other side. And you can even repeat these twists if they feel good to you. And when you are complete, maybe bring the knees back up to center. You can rock your way up to a seated position or just roll to the side and then press yourself up and return to seated. We'll complete our practice here, sitting up nice and tall. Nice relaxed shoulders, arms and hands. Take a deep breath. And then one last movement together. Inhale, extend arms out and up, reach high. Exhale, bring palms together and down to your heart, taking one more breath. And as we come to the close of our practice together, we bow saying, Namaste. Thank you so much for watching and participating in this yoga lesson. To help us with the channel so we can continue to bring you more content, please like the video and subscribe to the channel. It's really appreciated. Namaste.